Lights are off.
Guys, one single file line of both schools together. We're on this side, it's okay. And this way also. Okay. We're going to do introductions a little bit later. But we're going to start by saying to Hitler together, then say to Shagara for the soldiers and one for America as well. I ask that everybody please be silent other than to join together into Hitler. Shalom, Sasai, Please remain standing in silence as we play the national anthems. Number 24, freshman Dovid. 3, sophomore Josh Ross. Number 32, freshman Efraim Ashkenazi. And number 34, sophomore Solly Laserstick. Now the reserves for Magen David Warriors. Number 0, sophomore Dorian Hamid. Number 1, sophomore Charles Sultan. Number 2, freshman Teddy Soror. Number 4, sophomore Joseph Feldman. Number 5, freshman Freddie Salame. Number 10, freshman Eliyahu Ben Hassour. Number 12, sophomore Jan Alfas. And number 24, sophomore Joseph Barnefeld. Okay, now the starters for the TABC score. Number 3, sophomore Josh Deese. Number 10, sophomore Sean McHale. Number 11, sophomore Ezra Adams. Number 13, sophomore Eitan. And number 15, sophomore Tiny Sky. The score are both by Eitan, Adam Boston, and Shlomo Westford. Now, the scores for the Magen David Warriors. Number 3, sophomore Captain Wayne Scher. Number 13, freshman Michael Anthony. Number 22, sophomore Jacob Levy. Number 23, sophomore Captain Sally Hasbani. And number 34, sophomore Captain Jacob Magosa. The Warriors are managed by Neil Cohen and coached by Howard Scher and Ben Now.
We are live from the Max Stern Athletic Center at the world-famous Yeshiva University for the JV Finals. I am Norman Jamal, and on my left is Yosef Silver, here to call the game for you between the undefeated Magen David Warriors 10-0 versus the 8-2 TABC Storm. Yosef, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Norman. I'm ready for a good one. It should be a great matchup between number 1 seeded TABC Storm against the number one seed in the other division, the Magen David Warriors.
Although Magen David went undefeated, TABC had a little bit of a tougher schedule according to most league experts. And people are saying the 8-2 record that they had may be just as impressive as the 10-0 record. Although you pointed out something to me in the pregame, Magen David outscored their opponents by 369 points this season.
Yeah, and that's just the regular season, not even factoring the 2 20-point wins in the playoffs. And you know they've been storming through everyone the entire season. Obviously, they undefeated in the Yeshiva League. They won Boca. You know, kind of wasn't super close. They were up almost 30 at halftime in the Boca Championships against Frisch. Ended up being a closer game at the end. But their closest game in the Yeshiva League has been 13 points. So this team is an absolute wagon, and they're looking to keep it going today.
Magen David's going to try to run the ball. They're going to do their famous press that we've seen for 20 years that nobody could seem to break it properly. TABC, in my opinion, is going to try to slow it down a little bit. But number 11 on TABC, Ezra Adams, he never stops moving. Whether he has the ball or not, you're going to see him cutting and slashing all day. We are underway. Magen wins the tip. Asbani underneath to Ray Sher. Misses the layup rebound by Adams. Here comes TABC. Good look by Magen early. TABC number 10, Shai Mikkel acting as the point, trying to hand it off to Stein. Here's Adams. Adams top of the key. Good defense by Magen David. 35-second shot clock in the JV, just like varsity. Number 3, Josh Neese with the ball, hands it off to Stein. Back to Neese. Neese up top, picks up the dribble. Only 6 on the shot clock already. Here's Adams. He drives, the turnaround jumper. That's a brick. That would have been a shot clock violation if TABC got the rebound there. Ray Sher loses the ball, picks it up, and it's suddenly wide open. And he airballs the shot. And finally, Magen gets it in. Number 34, Jacob Ukamza to fix the mess over there.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little bit of nerves from both teams. You know, Raymond Sher having those 2 shots there. But that's going to be a key for TABC. They're going to have to grab the defensive rebounds. This Magen team is really, really good. You cannot afford to give them extra possessions.
Risky pass over there. Adams able to retrieve it. Contact, no call. Here comes Magen. It's a fast break. And it's good, 4-0. Magen David, Salih Hasbani, his first attempt, and it's good. Magen up to a 4-0 start.
And that's been a classic Magen possession this year. They pressure you relentlessly. The second you cross the half-court line, force a turnover, transition offense leads to easy points.
Patel to Stein. He picks it up. He's got a wide-open cutting and slashing Ezra Adams. He never stops moving, Yosef.
Yeah, beautiful play from Adams just to keep going. And that'll be the key for Magen David, sticking with him. You know, we talk about how Magen is so good, but Adams is probably the best player in this game, and whenever you have the best player on your team, you always have a shot.
That's right. We're going to have a jump ball. It's going to go to TABC since Magen won the tip. Magen was already trapping across half court on the very first possession of the game. TABC didn't get a turnover, but they had a very risky high pop pass that went through. They cannot fall for the trap of Magen if they want any shot today. Okay, hands it off to Adams, back to Stein. Stein dribbles through traffic, and the foul is called. Foul's on number 13.
Yeah, that's going to be Antebe's first. And once again, it's just about sticking with your man, not getting too handsy, right? He gets past you, but you have to make sure that you're moving your feet, sticking with him.
Michael Antebe, the only freshman that starts for Magen David. Long pass, it's okay. It's not going to be a backcourt on the inbounds. Adams knows the rules, good for him. Sometimes at JV, you see guys trying to do acrobatic catches for no reason there. Here's Stein. He's going to drive, and another foul called. It's on number 3, Ray Sher. The second for Magen David early.
And once again, that's a great job from Tani Stein, just driving straight to the basket, forcing them to stick with him defensively. And right now, he's 2 for 2 on drawing fouls on those drives.
Early substitution for Magen David. Ray Sher is going to take a little bit of a rest. He looks a little nervous. Missed that layup early. Joe Feldman coming into the game. Picked up by Hasbani, going coast to coast, and it's good. The one guy who doesn't seem nervous is Salih Hasbani. He's running the court like a track and field star. Got those pink sneakers to boot. 6'2" Magen David. Nice pass inside to Patel, and he hits the little floater over there. TABC very good sharing the ball. That's Shai Patel with the bucket. It's Jacob Levy, number 22 for Magen David. He's a tall man, but he acts like a guard slash forward. Inside, Feldman, nice pass, but unable to be handled. That was a good pass. He had a wide open Jacob Ukamza underneath for a wide open layup, but Ukamza's got to catch the ball first.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, I wasn't sure if TABC was going to be in a man or a zone. They played a little bit better job, as that's a foul on the floor. Once again, that's 3 fouls already from Magen David. And I wasn't sure if they were going to come out in a man or a zone. You'd think they match up a little bit better in man. They started the year in man. They've been a much better zone team. But I wondered if maybe they'd start with a man. They've started with a zone, and all of Magen's points pretty much are in transition. They had that one on the offensive rebound. So their half-court defense has actually been holding up pretty well, and it'll just be about limiting the transition opportunities and limiting the turnovers for
Also,
TABC.
the adjustments that you have to make. Oh, what a move by Adams. No good. He gets his own rebound. Goes up with it. And guess what? He was fouled there. No call. He was fouled on the putback. I saw it on the forearms. We have a 6-all game. I don't think you could go with one defense for 32 minutes and expect to get out of here with these two great coaches. You have Harold Scher of Magen David and Shlomo Weisberg of TABC. They're going to adjust and change things up. You know Magen at some point is going to surprise everybody, although not surprise anybody, with their full-court press. You just don't know when it's coming. Here's Stein in the transition. It's a 2-on-3. He pulls up with the jumper, gets his own rebound. Nobody boxing out. Everyone assuming that the rebound's going to come down the same way as it does in Magen David. It's a different backboard, different rim. Stein way off the mark on the 3. Fight for the rebound goes to Magen. 6-all game, fast pace, 3:42 remaining in the first. Oh, another turnover, but Levy able to recover on the ground. Anthony wide open for a long 3. It looked good, but it's off the mark. And a foul from behind by EB, Eitan Barron.
Yeah, a little bit of a hectic possession. Once the ball goes on the floor, it's kind of anyone's game. I believe it was Antony that had the shot for 3, but once again, so many offensive rebounds in this game. You know, you could say, you know, Magen David, they're kind of used to different rim, different backboard. TABC, you know, obviously they're not necessarily used to playing in this gym. But, you know, it's going to have to be key. Cleaning up the defensive glass. These teams are so talented. You know, to even stop them for one possession is an accomplishment in itself. So to give them another chance at getting another basket, you're not going to win by giving the other team so many more chances. As now the score is 6-7. Magen David leads TABC.
6-7. Levy regains the lead for Magen David. I just think you have to go back to your techniques at a new court, and you have to box out. Nobody on Magen found the man to box out there. And there was only one guy to box out. It was like a 1-on-3 on that particular possession. Here, oh, wow, beautiful spin move, but risky pass. He was looking for Barron, cutting down low, and look how fast Magen is. Feldman with the one-handed layup. It is 9-6, Magen David. They've led since the beginning or tied. TABC yet to have the lead in this game. Magen looking to get Ray Scher back in the game. You see him about to check in at the next whistle. Stein for the tie, off the back rim. Good boxing out that time by Magen, but it's stripped. The 3, no good. Rebound Feldman. Another turnover there, but TABC doesn't make them pay, and Adams commits the foul. It's his first, team second. You get 5 per quarter, Yosef, before it goes to 2 shots.
And we'll just see this transition on the replay. As that's Hasbani moving in. Adams has no choice but to foul him. And, you know, that's only Adams' first, but, you know, with him being the guy pretty much for TABC,
oh, yeah,
you know, that'll be something to watch going forward. He has to stay out of foul trouble for TABC to have a chance.
Hasbani gets his own rebound on the missed layup off the inbound, and then misses another layup, another rebound, this one by Scher. Kicks it out, Levy for 3, off the rim again. A 4th chance for Magen David. Puts up another one, no good again. Finally, Sukovsky, who just checked in the game, gets the rebound. Believe it or not, no matter what happened there, still a good possession by Magen because of the foul on Adams. And a foul on Sukovsky, I believe. I don't mind that because that's not always going to get called if you're TABC. If you're a big guy underneath like I used to be, you get away with that most times, you know, when no one's looking. Sukovsky couldn't get away with it that time, the push-off.
And especially down low, I feel like the refs have been a little more loose, which in a championship environment, I kind of like the refs to kind of let the guys play, not be overactive on the whistles.
What a pass by Scher, and another missed layup. It's around 4 or 5 missed layups by Magen David already. So unlike them. Who's that foul on? Is that on? I think they said 15.
I believe that's on Stein, 15.
Yeah. So his first, and suddenly TABC has 4 fouls. 1:47 remaining. Hasbani retrieves it. It's out to Jacob Levy. Levy dribbling between his legs. Scher wants it on the wing, but Hasbani goes inside to Feldman. Feldman back out to Hasbani. Now Scher gets it. And what a play by Magen David. Sure was by the three-point line, but then kept inching in, and then had the easy bucket.
Yeah.
Magen's biggest lead of the day, it's 11-6.
And it's a great job to, you know, they've been shooting a lot of threes and they haven't been going in. So work your way out, inside out, get closer to the basket, give yourself some better high looks. That's a nice that's a nice bucket
By
by Sokovsky.
What a pass, though, by Stein going around the defenders. Stein is able to penetrate this defense so far. He drew a couple of fouls earlier, now went around them and made that pass. Here's Scher penetrating, the kick out. Feldman, nice pass inside, and here we go. The guys are calming down now. You see them playing their game. Hasbani leads all scorers with 6.
And once again, Magen David attacking that post, identifying the TABC's in the zone, going right at the heart of that zone defense. That's a steal.
Yeah, Hasbani gets the steal, and then the easy layup for Ray Scher. Scher decided to go no backboard on that gimme layup, and it's 15-8. It wasn't even a hard press, that one. It was like a soft press, but executed perfectly and caused a risky pass.
Yeah, it's Magen David's classic 1-2-2 press. We've seen it basically from them at all levels and all years. As that's a bucket, no good.
Yeah, TABC missing open shots now. And Magen with 8 seconds left, they could hope for one. Levy with 5 seconds. Goes to his left, he's wide open for the layup, he misses it. And that's the first quarter. What action, 15-8 Magen David.
Yeah, it's definitely been a back and forth quarter, and like what we've seen so many times from Magen David this year is their press and the way they force the tempo is giving teams such problems. And honestly, you know, the way this game has kind of gone, I think TABC's, you know, it's 15-8. This game could be a lot more. Magen David struggled to hit their shots. TABC's had some really nice looks offensively as well. But they're just going to have to figure out how to break the press. They're going to have to keep going, get it over half court, stay calm, stay composed, because this Magen David press is really giving them problems and creating a lot of transition opportunities. And I was speaking to someone from TABC before the game. He said one of the keys is to keep this game close down the stretch. Right now it's within 7, but you know, Magen hasn't really played in a lot of close games this year by the fact that they've just been blowing everybody out. So we haven't really seen them in the environment of a close game. So, you know, obviously once it's close, you know, different things change. Players play different ways. You react to the pressure differently. He said the key for them is just keeping it close, forcing Magen David for the first time all year, which is crazy to say in mid-March, to play in a really close game and feel that environment.
It's a great point, but if they keep outscoring their opponent by 7, it's going to be 14 by halftime and 21 entering the 4th. So TABC's got to cut into this lead, got to keep it at 7 or less going into halftime, or 9 or less, single digits I'd say, to make Magen David even feel that this is going to be competitive. Legendary Magen David varsity coach Spike Dweck in the first row behind his coaches. Talking to Harold Scher earlier in the week, and he told me he and Spike speak almost daily, multiple times a day, about what they want to accomplish at both the JV and varsity levels. They're like one well-oiled machine over there in Magen. Benny Mann, the assistant, assists both teams. He's out every night from 7 to 9 or 7 to 10. Scher misses the layup. Good take.
And very interesting on that possession. We talked earlier about the TABC zone. They went man on that possession. You know, sometimes coaches will do that out of a timeout as that's blocked by Magen David and out right into the fast break.
So fast. Magen David just outruns everybody, but they've missed a half dozen layups at least. At least they've missed 6, maybe 7 or 8 layups. Wide open for 3, it's good! That is number 4, Ben Gala, just into the game, and he nails the 3.
And that's what you have to do if you're TABC. This Magen team is really, really good, and anytime they make a mistake, you have to capitalize. They missed the layup on the other end, punch them right back with a 3, and now it's a 4-point game.
Anthony looking to answer. It's off the rim. Rebound by Gala. Gives it up to Bakel to bring it up. Shai Bakel slowing it down. Here's Tani Stein dribbling with his left, picks it up. Finds Bakel again. Look at TABC slowing it down. And look at that gorgeous drive, but misses the layup. Rebound, Sukovsky. Inside to Gala with his left. Gala lost the ball and tried to spin it or something. Magen outrunning everybody in the gym, and it's blocked by Ezra Adams. What this kid can do on a basketball court is special.
Yeah, once again, great job by Adams getting back. We talk about him so much on the offensive end, the contributions he makes, but he never gives up, keeps his eye on the ball, identifies the pass, and is just able to block him from behind.
Substitution for Magen. Joe Barnathan checks in for Joe Feldman. Oh, what an inbound play. Hasbani wide open for the layup. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, and we talked about the awareness from Adams on the other end to make the block, but coming out of the inbound play, you got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to know where the ball is, where your man's going. You can't let him blow by you. Can't get caught watching.
Yeah, you can't give up a layup on an inbound with a simple pick. Here's Adams down low. The pass to Barron underneath. What a play! I don't know how Barron hit that shot.
Yeah, and Barron's a guy, he didn't start in the beginning of the year. He really worked his way into the starting rotation, and he's done a great job ever since getting that role.
Barron gets his basketball knowledge from his mom, Ann Barron, who's actually a Bahara from Deal. Long line of Bahari that have played basketball, most of them EBs. You had Eli Braha, Ezra Barron, who lost at the JV level to Magen David around 7-8 years ago, and now Eitan Barron. But I don't know any of them that can hit that layup that he hit with his left hand, double defended. 17-13, Stein to Bakel. Bakel has a nice calming presence for TABC. I like him up there, although I don't like that he picked up the dribble out of nowhere there. Adams retrieves the ball, contact on the catch. Adams going in, forces it up, rebound Bakel up the tip, and Bakel puts it in. Shai Bakel's got 4 points tonight, and it's a 2-point game.
Yeah, once again, great play by Bakel, just going for the pass. I wonder if Adams was going for the shot or for the pass on that.
Wow. Oh my goodness, wow. Wow-wee, what a shot by Hasbani. He's got 10 points already of Magen's 19.
Yeah, just flying in. We talk about the speed of Magen David, the way he was able to just get from the three-point line straight to the basket.
What about the length of his arms? Nice pass to the back door. And Barron will go to the line for 2. Wow. How Hasbani hit that shot like his arms extended like the daughter of Pharaoh reaching for Moses' basket almost. It just extended out. Barron nails the foul shot. The first trip to the line for TABC.
Yeah,
Magen only there twice. They're 1 for 2.
And the pass on that last play from Bakel, just the ability to throw it over the defense. And, you know, we talk about Magen's press and their ability to force turnovers into transition, but their half-court defense, once TABC's able to get it over, TABC's really been able to do a good job of breaking it down and forcing good opportunities on the offensive end. So for TABC, the key, obviously, you know, it's a lot easier said than done, but once you break the press and you get into your half-court offense and you're able to run your sets and run your scheme, they've actually done a really good job of creating opportunities and putting points on the board.
Jacob Levy puts in the easy shot. I think it's a little bit too easy to give up a bucket like that. And then TABC commits the offense of shooting from behind the NBA three-point line, basically. There's 3 3-point lines. The closest one is ours. And here's Adams with the fast break layup, giving Magen a taste of their own medicine, an easy bucket. It's a 3-point game, Yosef.
Yeah, just a smart play from Adams, identifying the positioning where he needed to be. Antony was back in defense just to make sure that he was able to kind of ward off the defender and get an open lane to the bucket.
Barnathan, good defense by Tani Stein there, keeping his hands up the whole way and telling Barnathan, you're going to have to go through me if you want this bucket. 21-18, just a little field goal separating these two teams. Good response in the second quarter by the Torah Academy of Bergen County. Magen entered this quarter with 15 points, only 6 points this quarter. Nice pass on the cutter. Tani Stein finally gets on the scoreboard. What a weave that was. Timeout, Magen David. It is 21-20. Yosef, we wanted a close game. We have it.
And that's exactly what we were talking about at the end of the quarter. TABC just trying to keep it close, keep this a game, not let Magen pull away. And they've done a really good job this quarter handling the press, running their stuff offensively. And you saw on that last play, they were able to get the 2 wings all the way out in the corner, which created space in the open lane for the easy bucket.
You know, just so special doing these finals in Yeshiva University. I know there's a handful of them across the country where you can go and feel safe, but with what's going on in the world and the protesting and the nonsense, and I'm holding back my tongue on how to describe like some of the things that happen, to have a place like Yeshiva University right here in New York, it's really great. I'm walking in wearing my kippah seeing all the kosher establishments in the neighborhood. This is a great place to choose to go to if you have a high school kid like these guys. They're here now. They're seeing the neighborhood. 2-3 years from now, they may all be Yeshiva University students. Yosef may be calling their game for the Max the way his dad called the first ever Max game live on Max Live. Your dad, Eddie Silver, right? Called the first game ever.
Yeah, he was involved in that first Sarachek with when Nachum Siegel was in charge of the broadcasting. But definitely, you know, Yeshiva University is a great place, but right now we have a great game between Magen, David, TABC, the two titans of the Yeshiva League JV season.
That's right. Such different roads to get here. Magen undefeated. Back door! Another missed layup by Magen. If they hit half their layups, they'd be up by double digits.
Yeah, that was a beautiful hesitation from Hasbani on the half cut. Got his man flying towards the corner. Created an open lane.
I mean, I gotta assume Magen's gonna start hitting their layups. Oh, baseline. Nice pass. Offensive foul. And the three was good by Barron, but TABC unable to take the lead. Offensive foul.
Yeah, and that's just a tough play from Saleh Hasbani, putting his body on the line. A little bit shaken up, but he's getting up now. And just unbelievable, identifying that, you know, for TABC, they're not really watching. He's trying to get either the pass in the corner or the quick layup, just putting the body on the line for the team. Sophomore captain for these Magen David Warriors, kind of embodying what it means to be a captain on that play.
Nothing pumps up any team more than drawing an offensive foul, especially seeing that the three-pointer went in. Hasbani. Oh, he hoisted up and he puts it in. He was definitely contacted. No call. Man's got 12 points. What a game by Saleh Hasbani. 12 points, all from within 3 feet of the basket also. Smart player. Very good player. Barron. The pass to Bakel. Bakel in traffic, and he's fouled. Bumped on the body. That's going to be the first of this quarter on Magen David.
Yeah, for the most part, the officials have been letting this go. Kind of got bailed out over there. Obviously, you know, there is contact. I'm not saying there isn't. But he was in a bad spot trying to get the ball. Couldn't really get all of it on it to the corner where he had a man. But TABC inbound under the hoop. Fresh shot clock.
Adams is fouled. He slapped on the wrist over there, and he'll go to the line for 2. Foul's on 22, so that's Jacob Levy. We're going to have to check who that previous foul was on. I think the offensive foul was on Gala, who proceeded to check out for Stein. And I'm not sure who that bumping foul was on Magen, but we'll check at halftime.
And in and out from Adams. He's a guy that we kind of were thinking about before the game. Like, if TABC is going to win, it's got to be him.
Yeah.
Right? He's basically the best player in Yeshiva League. And, you know, we were thinking that, you know, he's got to be the guy. And he only has 6 points of TABC's 20, which you'd say is a lot, but for him, it's actually not that much.
Right.
And it's really been other guys. It's been a real team effort from TABC thus far. And once again, back in the man.
I think Bakel has been the smoothest, calmest player for TABC just yet. Nice move by Barnathan, unable to finish it. If he could finish that move, it would be a highlight reel for a while. Adams underneath! Bakel to Adams! My goodness!
Right
How
on.
fast are these kids? What are they feeding them in Bergen County? They're just fast.
Right on cue. Ezra Adams making up for those 2 misses. And now pulls TABC back to within 1.
Anteby being guarded by Bakel. It's a 1-point game, 90 seconds in the half. Levy takes the bump, no call, takes it himself, jumps up, finds Barnathan underneath. Another missed layup for MDY. Loose ball, and wide open is Adams. He's just got to catch it, and he does. He actually never caught it. Let me correct myself, but he volleyball tipped it to himself. And for the first time today, TABC has a lead, 24-23. Let's see how long it lasts. Hasbani bumped by his own player. Turnover, Magen David. And here is Stein. 24-23 TABC. Kicks it out. Barron down low. Here's Adams, the pull-up jumper. No good. Rebound, Magen David. Bukovska was the streaker, but turnover again. Here's Stein. Misses another layup. And Magen with 45 seconds left. It's a 2-on-3. No numbers here. They'll wait. 38 seconds left. 23 on the shot clock.
And this is a big possession for Magen David. If they don't score here, they're likely going into the...
Oh, Saleh Hasbani. Who else are they going to turn to in a time of need? He's got 14 points all from near the basket, and they'll have a chance for the traditional three-point play.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they don't score here, they're likely going into the locker room at a deficit. Right on cue, Saleh Asbani answering the call for Magen David. He's been excellent here in this first half.
I think TABC, no matter what's got to hold for one here, take a 1 or 2 point deficit into the locker room, or a lead or a tie. Asbani nails it. He's got 15 points. What a half by Saleh Asbani.
Yeah, now, like you were saying, down 2 for TABC. You want to hold for one shot. Worst comes to worst. You miss the shot, and you go into the locker room down 2. What you don't want is a silly turnover. Magen's coming out in a little bit of a press.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to let you just hold. Oh! And it is a turnover, as expected. 2-on-1. Feldman keeps it himself. Adams with a body bump. No call. And another turnover by Magen, leaving. Passes it off, and it's good. Feldman hits the layup. And just as predicted, we said they want to hold for one. Magen's not just going to let you hold for one. Who hit that last bucket? I know I said his name, but now I already forgot. Was it Feldman? I'll wait for the replay to update my scorer's book. I think it was Joe Feldman. We'll give him the points for now. And the difference in this game so far has been Saleh Asbani. TABC, no answers for Hasbani. We're going to get, for a minute, Yosef, we're going to get MDY play-by-play man Jeff Gindi up here to give us some analysis, because he's been watching this team all year. Does this work, Yosef?
Yep.
Wow, what a half that was. We have Jeffrey Gindi, play-by-play man extraordinaire for the Magen David Warriors. Jeff, how are you, my friend? Great environment, great game. I mean, Magen was up by 7 after the first. I was doing the math that it could be another 28-point win for Magen. But then TABC came storming back, to use a pun, to use a bad pun, storming back and made this such a close game at halftime.
You know, a 7-point lead at the end of the first, Norm, is not going to run away with this game, especially in a finals atmosphere like this in YU. Big atmosphere, big fans. A lot of nerves running through both teams, as you could clearly see that. You know, they're young boys out there playing ball, and a lot of them really trying their hardest, but there's definitely nerves.
There's no way Magen David has missed this many layups all season. There's no way, because they wouldn't be 10-0 if they missed 80% of their layups that Saleh Asbani doesn't take.
That's correct. Well said. And I was just talking to my boys on the other side over there, saying that the only one locker room message at halftime has to be, keep doing what you're doing. Those layups will fall.
Yeah. How predictable to you was when TABC was holding for one with 35 seconds that Magen is going to somehow get a turnover?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We watch it for 20 years. We're seeing the same playbook, and it works so good.
It's true, and you haven't even seen Magen David go into the rat yet.
Yeah.
Obviously, the rat is something that they're going to save. At this point, the rat is the full court press for MDY, which has been learned by a lot of other teams, and when it's been the most successful this season, has been at unexpected times. So watch for that in the second half, where MDY will just come off of a made basket, jump right into the rat, and get the other team a little flustered.
Yeah.
Usually it's the inbounds man who's ready to step over the line before he can even get the ball in. So that's something something to look for in the second half on a turnover. And Jacob Levy with the big steal there at the end.
Big.
You know, Jacob hasn't had his best game so far. How many points do you have? I'm not
Only
keeping
3
track.
points, Jeff. One for 2 from the line, and then a little layup.
Tried and true point guard, big man, very tall point guard, brings it up with a lot of control, but not a lot of scoring tonight so far. But that was a big steal for him, and I think a sign of things to come for the second half.
I spoke to Shlomo Weisberg, head coach of TABC, during last week. He knows the rat press is coming, but like everyone else in the building except your bench, no one knows when it's coming. You don't know exactly when. Have you picked up trends over the year that you could clue us in on when we could expect to see it?
It's a great question. There's no actual trend. I would say it's a gut feeling at this point. It's a made basket that shifts momentum, and when you could just feel that little slight momentum shift, all of a sudden the rat comes into play, the steal happens, and the momentum goes from 10 to 100 in one made basket, and then followed quickly by an opposing team timeout.
Yes, always. And you know what I notice? I think one of the best things of Magen coaching over the years is that I will look for them, and I want to see when it's coming. I can't get the tell. I can't figure out when the coaches tell the players, yet all 5 players on the court, whether it's varsity, JV, over the last 10 years, they all know. You never see the coach yelling at one guy that you didn't do the press when you were supposed to.
I want to add one thing to that. You mentioned varsity and JV.
Yeah.
This is a system that runs deep. That rat press is going down all the way into 6th grade.
Wow.
So the 8th graders, the 7th graders, and the 6th grade teams are also practicing the rat and utilizing the rat in-game a lot. I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Ezra Adams.
Yeah.
What a ball player.
He never stops moving. They blew out Hillel in the semifinals. So this guy scored, 20-something points. He's a great scorer. But when he's not scoring, this guy only slashes and cuts all day long. You saw him get nice passes from their point guard, Bakel, to Adams down low because he never stops moving. Even Magen David, with all the conditioning and everything, it's hard to keep up with a stud like Ezra Adams.
He has the body of a college ball player.
Yeah.
And he's got the shiftiness of an NBA player almost. I mean, I'm just enjoying watching him play. I had the privilege of sitting behind the MDY bench, so he was right in front of me just now.
Yeah.
His basket, and it was, wow, very impressive and just a great ball player so far. What a half.
Yeah, no, great half, great action. I'm just happy that it's close. These games are always close, but I'm happy we got to halftime, and it's not a 10-point lead. It's a 4-point lead. TABC actually took the lead for a brief moment, and we were wondering how long that's going to last.
Not long.
Magen has outscored their opponents by hundreds of points if you add them all up. I want to see them in a close game. I want to see how they're going to react if they're, 5 minutes left and it's a 2-point game. That's what we all want to see. So far, I mean, Soli Hasbani's been just so good, Jeff. Has he been your best player all year?
How about concussion fear?
What's that? Oh, the concussion fear.
Yeah, the collective breath held by the MDY faithful at that point was, what's going to be? And then he popped up. He gave a little, I'm fine. One of his teammates very smartly gave him a tap on the head after that.
Nice.
Didn't love that. But then he promptly went down, scored, wanted the end one, and we said, okay, he's fine. So, yes.
He deserved the end one on that one.
Give me the question. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Your question about Soli.
Has he been your best scorer all year?
Yeah. That's what Soli does.
I mean, he's
unbelievable.
Right there. And, okay. Jeff, I'm being told for the final 2 minutes and a half, we will run to a quick commercial.
All right, well, Norm,
thank
you very much.
This is not like Hillel and Magen, Jeff.
No,
they have
real
commercial breaks here, so we're going to kick it off the commercial.
Great
we'll
to
be
see
back
you.
in 2 minutes.
Good luck the rest of the way. Norm, thank you for having me on.
Jeffrey Gindi, Magen David, play-by-play man, the best in the biz. There he is. Thank you, Jeff. JV Finals. What a ball game we have. Magen David leads at halftime 28-24. It's a close one. I'm Norman Jamal, and on my left, Yosef Silver. That's YU royalty for all you newbies out there. Welcome to Yeshiva University. Second half action starting in a moment. Yosef, what a high-paced game. For Magen, it's really been Soli Hasbani leading the way. 15 points at halftime of their 28. I'm not a math major, but that's more than 50% of their points.
Yeah, Hasbani's been excellent thus far. He's really led the way for Magen David, and TBC's really had a problem guarding him. You know, they've tried Adams, they've tried Bikel. Barron was trying on him a little bit, and they're really going to have to figure out how to guard him better because his length and his size and his speed has just really caused problems for TABC, and they still haven't been able to find an answer to have one guy kind of guard him, do his best. Yeah. And that's going to be the key for TABC in this half. And the other key for TABC is Magen's relentless ball pressure has really mentally, caused problems for TABC. They haven't really been able to get set and kind of run what they want to run. It's a lot of been freelancing in terms of cuts and drives and things like that. But once they get into the half court, if they can start getting calm and running their sets, that'll be their key to kind of jump the lead of Magen David.
A lot of action just now as Adams had a great drive to the basket. Couldn't hit the layup, but Kell comes flying in, of all people, with the offensive rebound. Here's Stein in the corner. Got to be careful at Yeshiva taking the corner three with the quote-unquote six-man, which is the white bars that hold up the basket. That foul is on number 13. It's Michael Anthony. First foul of the third quarter for Magen David. Okay, inbound underneath by TABC. It'll be Josh Neese. Looking for Bikel, he finds him. I think Adams could guard Hasbani because Adams only has one foul right now, and Hasbani's going to draw fouls. He's so lanky and so fast.
Yeah, we saw it a little bit in the first half. It was Hasbani's quickness that was kind of getting to Adams. That's a nice play, and he gets fouled. He'll go to the line for two.
What a move. And that's on Anthony. Anthony might be in a little bit of foul trouble. He's got at least 2, maybe 3. I think he's got 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe he picked up his second on the floor here, and that was just his third. But for Anthony, he struggled a little bit thus far in the game. You look to see him to kind of turn things around and get it going.
Adams hits the first foul shot. He and the team are, he's now 1 for 3. The team is 2 for 5 from the line. And he gets the next one to rattle, and he's up to 12 points now.
Yeah, I just want to give a correction. I believe they ended up calling the last foul on number 22, Jacob Levy.
Oh, okay. Let me adjust that. So Levy, I think, has 2 now. Thank you, Yosef.
So now Levy's up to 2, and Anthony's still down at 2.
Hasbani draws another foul. He's proving to be a little unguardable for TABC.
Yeah, we were thinking Adams was going to be the unguardable guy. I'm not saying that he isn't because he's also been having an excellent game, especially over the last 5-10 minutes. But Hasbani's been the story of this game thus far. That time they tried with Bikel. And once again, just Hasbani getting to the basket, creating opportunities, getting points, hit the free throw there. Now Magen's up 3.
See, that's a good teammate, Yosef. He saw I was looking down at my book. I'm not going to act all professional. I'm going to give Yosef credit. He saw me looking down at my book that I missed the foul shot, and he announced that he hits that foul shot. Thank you, Yosef.
It's all about teamwork.
That's it. Okay, look at Magen. And it's a 10-second violation. They caused Bikel to pick up the dribble on this side of the line. He almost didn't want to cross the line because that's where Magen's famous for trapping you and using the line as another defender. Instead, they used the 10-second clock to their benefit. Inbound, then right back to Sher from Bukabza. Sher to Antabi. Antabi back out to Levy. As Levy explodes to the hole, but misses the layup. Great move by Levy. Levy then hacked Adams. No call. Inconsequential anyway. Here's Bikel. Bikel 1-on-5. The pump fake puts it up. Rebound by Barron, but it's stripped by Levy. Levy will bring it up. We have a 4-point game still. Levy going to the hole again. Layup no good. Offensive rebound. Contact no call, and it stays with Magen David.
Yeah, once again, we see the officials kind of letting the guys play it out. There was a nice amount of contact as we see on the replay. on that first attempt.
And on the second again. Okay, inbound goes to Hasbani. Magen and David, they build them tough over there, so they're not going to complain too much. That foul, of all the fouls that they call that one, the body foul on Bakel.
As now we'll get a sub for Magen David. Looks like it's going to be
Feldman.
Joe Feldman checking into the game. Jacob Levy taking a seat.
Feldman provided good energy for Magen in the first half. I like the substitution. Inbound to Bukubza, wide open for the layup. Jacob Bukubza has 4 points now.
Yeah, and Bukubza, one of those guys we haven't really mentioned as much this game, but he does so much for them defensively. Such a smart player, able to anticipate those passing lanes and getting on the board there.
He's a tough guy. He's got a hockey mentality. Barron, the jumper, airballed it over the basket. And Feldman gets the lead pass to Hasbani. Hasbani blocked by Barron. Nice play by EB, Eitan Barron. Out-of-town scoreboard from the 8th grade championship. Hillel beats SAR just now. Congratulations to them. Anteby pulls up for a 3, and it's good. Michael Anteby, the freshman, his first points of the game, 35-26, a 9-point lead by Magen. Again, the confusion at half court. Magen gets another turnover. Sure, and he's fouled. Contact into the photographer. And Ray Scher will go to the line for 2 shots. Magen slowly pulling away over here, causing a lot of havoc using that half-court line as a defender.
Yeah, and we see this so much. If you're if you're TABC, the one thing you can't do is pick up your dribble in the half court. And consistently, the past couple possessions, they've been doing that. You have the 2 guys from Magen standing flat at the half court line, which is kind of forcing the TABC guards to freeze when they have the ball. And that's the one thing you can't do, because then you get stuck. You can't move. They come in, they put pressure on you, they try to trap you. And, you know, we saw a 10-second violation there earlier. We've seen 2 or 3 turnovers already. We're not even 3 minutes into the half. They're really going to have to work through, once again, just staying calm, getting through that press. And once they get through that press, staying calm in the half court as well, running their sets, being patient, and not letting the mentality of that Magen press speed them up even in the half court.
Ray misses both foul shots. The other thing is, once they cause the turnover, timeout TABC, once they cause the turnover, they are like horses in the gate. They're salivating for that bell. The 2 or 3 wing guys just explode to the hole, and they turn it into easy layup after easy layup.
And that's how they get you. And, you know, that's how they're able to balloon some of these leads, right? You see some of their scores, it's almost like comical. Like, is this a varsity team playing elementary school, some of them? But, like, that's how they do it, because they're able to get the quick transition. Then they go right back in the press. They force another turnover and another turnover. You turn around. It's 45 seconds later. Magen's put up 5.5 buckets in transition because they just keep forcing turnovers. They don't even let you get opportunities in the other end.
It's exactly what happened here in this third quarter. You don't even notice like that much of a run, but out of nowhere, turnover, 10 seconds, turnover, fast break, layup, foul shot, bing, bang, boom, 35-26 all of a sudden. Where TABC is desperate for a bucket. You saw Shlomo call the timeout there.
Yeah, I mean, it was barely 2 minutes ago that it was a 1-possession game. All of a sudden, it's a 9-point lead. And the key for TABC is going to make sure to hold on to the basketball and keep it close.
That one was stripped from behind by Scher. Loose ball underneath. Barron goes down low but saves it to Feldman. Fight for the rebound. Look at the hustle by both teams. I love it. And it goes off of a TABC leg, and it'll stay with Magen David underneath.
And that's a great heads-up play by Bukubza. He's kind of stuck under the hoop on the floor. He's got 3 or 4 TABC defenders around him, just making sure, not picking up a 3-second, not trying to get up and travel or get the ball stripped. He's able to find a way to keep the possession for his team without burning a timeout. And now they have the ball in the half court.
Great point. Here's Bukubza. Nice inbound play. They passed it all around. It's a 2-pointer for Michael Anteby. His foot was on the line. Even though we're playing with the closest line, his foot was on that closest line. More trouble at half court for TABC, but they finally break it. And once they break it, they'll have a look like that for Adams. And now Magen somehow gets ahead of everybody, and Anteby answers with another bucket. He's got 7 points all in this third quarter.
And that's a great pass from Ray Scher.
Yeah, full court.
Identifying the man cutting. And once again, that wasn't off in the half-court press. That's a 3. That's
Oh, he
Banked
banked it in. The bank is open on Sunday for Tani Stein. It's an 8-point game. That was a lucky bounce for Stein. He was not so accurate on that one, but he uses the backboard. There's Ray Scher. He hits the layup. Scher missed a boatload of layups early, but good penetration there and then puts it into his credit. Okay, a softer press that time. They give you so many variations, does Magen. TABC, nice pass across the court. Here's Adams. Oh, he did an underhand loop, and it's an N1. Magen wanted a charge. Adams draws the foul.
And just look at the skill, the way he's able to go under and over with the opposite hand through the contact.
Such an interesting move that he did that. He went so low with the ball. It's back to 8. Adams at the line today is 2 for 4. Missed the pair and then drained the pair. Jacob Levy checks back in for Joe Feldman. Adams hits it, completes the three-point play. We have a 7-point game. 3.5 left in the third quarter.
And it looked like TABC came out with a press of their own, trying to match the intensity coming from Magen.
Fight for the rebound. Sukowski and Scher fighting for that one. I like when guys are hustling as hard as they can. This is a championship game. Look at that replay. That's the fight you want. No foul call, just a jump ball or an out of bounds or. Okay, out to Hasbani in the bright pink sneakers. Magen David has 3 different shades of pink on their feet. Scher with the lightest shade. Hasbani with the brightest. Hasbani floats it up. This kid is awesome. He's got 19 points, Sali Hasbani. His arms are so long.
And that's the thing with him. It's not just that 6'1" frame, but the length and the quickness and the physicality that he's able to play with just makes him such a complete player and such a nightmare problem for TABC's man-to-man defense.
Like right there, you think they're guarding him, but his arms just extend. Okay, here's Adams. 9-point game, pulls up, fades away. He hasn't been able to hit that shot today, and it'll stay with TABC. He's had some good looks with that move. He's got to get him to drain if TABC wants to come back here.
Yeah, and it looks like TABC's trying to run a lot of ISO to Adams, which makes sense because, you're down 9 in a big game. You're obviously going to look towards your top players, but I'd like to see them run some of their real sets, get the other members of the team involved.
Fouled on the jumper. Foolish foul by Michael Anthony. He's in foul trouble. Yeah, even though I misgave him one of the previous fouls, he seems to be the culprit here. Magen, though, keeping him in the game right now, so Tani Stein nails the foul shot. He's now got 1 3-pointer, 1 2-pointer, and 1 1-pointer. That equals 6. And there's number 7. Okay, Tani Stein fans screaming from the crowd. 7-point game here, Yosef. 2.5 to go in the third.
Yeah, and I think these 2.5 minutes are going to tell us a lot about what the fourth quarter is going to look like. If Magen can go on a little bit of a run here, pull away from TABC, go into the fourth quarter and it with a double-digit lead, I think that'll really put TABC's back to the wall. Versus if TABC can come out, cut the lead, not even necessarily tie the game, but cut the lead to 1 possession, maybe 3-4 points, 2-3-4 points in that range. That'll set up for a really, really good fourth quarter tight game.
Yep.
And, these 220, it's going to be big either way.
It's humongous. That's what my old coach, legendary coach. That 3 is good. Legendary coach Joel Rishdi used to say the games are won in the third quarter. This is exactly what he meant. Michael Anthony stays in the game with a little bit of foul trouble. Why? Because he's got 10 points in this third quarter. He's the difference maker here for Magen David right now. Stein kicks it out, wide open for 3, off the 6th man. It's so different, the Yeshiva University backboards, as Moshe Sharbat learned the hard way just now. That side 3 is not so open for you.
Yeah, we sometimes see the 6th defender pop up. These teams not super familiar with this gym. TABC played MTA this year, but foul
over there, and it's a 10-point game. Yeah, like I saw them warming up. I saw both coaches stress it. Look where the bars are for the backboard. They both stress the 3-point line differentials, and it's only so much you can do once the kids get on. It's just different. But that's the beauty of a finals. You want it to be a little different.
And especially when you're actually in the game itself. It's one thing, going through warm-ups, trying to get one way or the other. But, once it comes down to it, you're in the moment, you're in the corner, you get that 3 shot. And then just to have it hit the crossbar, our 6th defender, as we like to call it here at Max Live. It's just tough for a shooter, as that's no good from Osbani, but Levy's going to grab the rebound.
Unbelievable. The final 220 that you so deftly pointed out is going all the way of Magen David.
Once again, it touches on what we said before. You can't give them free opportunities. They're up by double digits. It's really close down the stretch. They're too talented to give them multiple possessions, multiple attempts per possession.
Here's Stein. He's going to go baseline, loses the ball, and a foul is called. So far, the final 220, we've only played 50-some-odd seconds of that. Michael Anthony hit a 3. Moshe Shabbat hit the 6th defender. On the other end, Hasbani got to the line, hit 1, missed the 2nd. Magen gets the offensive rebound. So they've extended it up to 11 from 7 in the last minute just now. And this is where Magen David wants to live, as Stein finally stops the bleeding there with a foul shot.
Yeah, now with both of these teams in the bonus, the one thing you don't want to do is foul, especially for Magen David, but even for TABC as well, because you don't want to give the other, for Magen David, you don't want to stop the clock, and for Magen David, you don't want to stop the clock to give TABC 3 points, and for TABC, any points you're giving Magen David just digs your hole further.
Hasbani, the first man to reach 20 in this game. He's got exactly that after he hit that 1 foul shot. Foul from behind, and Magen will go to the line for 2.
And that's going to be Ray Scher headed to the line for Magen David. And once again, just getting handsy on defense if you're TABC. You've got to play with your feet. You can't be making mistakes in a 9-point game in the championships. This is where it really matters. This is the end of their season. It's not like we'll talk about for varsity later, where UNW will be on the call for that, where, you could say at least these guys have Sarachek, they still have whatever. I mean, this is the last game of their season for these guys. You got to put it all out on the line. And you just got to be play smarter. You can't be making those mistakes. And now here we see the rat pass.
Here it is, and Laserson down low catches the full court pass. First point for Sauli Laserson. Might be his first minutes in the game. I don't recall seeing him prior. Magen David 7 for 11 from the line after Scher hits both of them. He previously missed both of them. Underneath, Jacob Levy, and he's got 5 points for Magen. Loose ball, Magen with the turnover, becomes a 2. Anthony, it's good. So fast, don't blink. Anthony, 12 points in the 3rd quarter. And now here comes TABC, 13-point deficit. Stein down low, being trapped, the full court pass. Now it's Stein, it was Adams down low, and Stein misses the 3. Magen will get the last say in this 3rd quarter. They're up by 13.
And that's just the rush shot from Adams. Once again, this Magen press, even though he wasn't being pressed in that moment, just the mentality of we gotta go, they're gonna attack, force that quick 3. And now Magen David's going to go in with at least a 13-point lead at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, looking for more. The pull-up jumper, it's good! And the fist bump from Jacob Levy. The exclamation point on an excellent 3rd quarter for Magen David. They extend to a 15-point lead. It is 55-40. Wow, Magen David went on a scoring barrage there.
Yeah, just an excellent quarter for Magen David. And that's what we were saying, it was going to be won bit by bit, especially we were talking about those last 2 minutes. And, it was a 7-point lead for Magen David when we were talking about that. They finished the quarter on a 10-2 run. They're now up by 15 points. And, I think the next 2 minutes pretty much are going to tell the game if TABC can't get back at this point. It's going to be tough, a 15-point deficit against a team like Magen David that brings such pressure. We were talking at halftime about the rat press, when we were going to see that.
Yeah.
It creeped up at the end, and it was really effective in the way they were able to do it. Once again, just forcing TABC. We saw the first time, actually, they were able to break it. And when they go in that rat press, they put everyone pretty much in the front court. It allows for opportunities for guys for guys to have wide open lanes on the other side of the court, but it's so hard for the guards to identify that when there's 4 guys just surrounding them, going in for the kill.
It's like in life when there's just pressure, you can't perform as well as you'd like to in anything in life. So you just know whether it's the actual press or it's the thought of the press or the fact that it's going to come or it's a different type of press or it's the actual rat press, they just know it's coming and it's getting in their heads. 27 points in the third quarter for Magen David, 27-16, an 11-point advantage for them in the third alone. In total, they lead by 15, and we're going to have to see a lot of scoring from TABC if they want a chance. What a way to start with Ezra Adams. He's got 19 points.
Yeah, and you're talking about scoring for TABC. Well, that's where it's going to start with number 11. Ezra Adams not going to go down quietly.
Anthony, the turnaround jumper, back rim, rebound, Hasbani. Hasbani, the one Magen David in the white jersey, surrounded by 4 TABC Storm. Not one of them boxed him out. Hasbani will out-jump you. What a rebound by Hasbani, draws the foul, and Magen maintains control of the ball. In the corner for 3! And it's good, Bukabza. Don't forget about him. Every time you forget about him, he gets you a bucket. It's 7 points for him. And Magen David feeling great right now. Here is Adams dribbling out to Stein. Stein launches the 3. It's good! Tani Stein, 12 points. Big shot to get this within 13. That's a big shot because you have to stop the bleeding. Hasbani down low, Bukabza, and 1! Hasbani, everyone thought he's going to take the shot. Unselfishly, he dishes it off to Bukabza, who's racing on the baseline and hits the layup.
Yeah, that's just a selfless play from Hasbani. And, you know, we talk a lot about, actually we haven't been talking a lot about Bukabza and what he's done until he showed up there. But defensively, right, you were talking about Tani Stein before. Tani Stein, he's such a dangerous scorer for TABC. He's been really quiet today, and that's because Bukabza's been locking him down, doing a great job on the defensive end.
Pump fake, Stein, the step back, off the back rim, rebound, Magen David, it's Anthony. Anthony looking to run, and he draws the foul. Magen looking to run. Coach Harold Scher giving Anthony a piece of his mind, but the running did draw the foul there.
Yeah, you know, and that could just be a freshman, you know, trying to speed things up on his own, ended up drawing a foul. I think TABC is now going to call a timeout, talk things over. It's down 16 with 6.5 to go. You know, something's got to change, and something's got to change quickly if you're the Storm. But definitely an ill-advised foul if you're TABC. Those are not the fouls you want to take, and now they're already up to 3 team fouls in the half. The one thing you don't want to do is, right, pretty quickly, especially with the speed that Magen David plays at, there's going to inevitably be fouls coming, and you're just giving them free opportunities at the line.
Yeah.
And down 16, that's just something you can't afford.
And it's different when you're at the line when the score's 4-all and you're nervous. When you're up like 16 points and you go to the line, usually you hit those shots. There's no pressure anymore, and you're feeling good, and the crowd is happy, and all showing up Magen David right now. 6 minutes, 36 seconds remain. Inbound pass goes to Bukabza. What a spark he's been in this fourth. Anthony the rebound, but a foul on Anthony. It's a good call. He did climb over the back. See the replay here. What explosion by Bukabza.
Yeah, that's definitely an over the back on Anthony, but just great play by Bukabza. Literally shot out of a cannon on the way to the basket.
Okay, here is Adams to Bakel. Stein back to Bakel. Bakel gonna dribble into the foul line, find Stein from the sideline, and it's a rebound by Anthony. Anthony, a really good rebounder. He just follows the ball where it is. He tracks it beautifully. Levy with his left crosses half court.
Yeah, Anthony, one of the best freshmen in the Yeshiva League this year. And I was talking to Benny Mann about how many guys they have, and Magen David, it's almost like, that's a nice play from Levy.
Yeah.
Magen David, they're almost like an all-star squad with the amount of guys that they have that would just, not just be starters, but would be like real players for so many teams in the league. And it just shows the selflessness that these guys have. They're able to play with each other, right? Anthony's a guy, as that's a 3, it's going to be off the mark and hit the top. Anthony's a guy that probably could go to a different, you know, if he was at a different school, we may be talking about him in the all-star conversations for the all-star game for the Yeshiva League, and he's barely even in the conversation because he's behind so many guys for this Magen David team, but he's able to be such a seamless fit with all these sophomores.
Yeah, it's a great point. Magen David, they did get some transfers before this year, as they call them, the transfers, but they also have some of their homegrown. It's the best Brooklyn has to offer, basically, on this JV squad. And just a great job of getting some guys to accept their lesser roles, getting guys to accept that this is going to be a team game and we're not going to lose a game all season long if everyone could play like a team. There's Adams. They've got 21 right now.
Yeah, and I think that starts with, not just on the court, but off the court as well. We see it sometimes when the locker room is together, guys are able to mesh on the court so much better. And when the locker room is split, even if you're doing well on the court, all of a sudden one guy takes a dumb shot, right? You're up 16, a guy takes a dumb shot, and you still get mad at him. Right. There's a bad locker room. And you can see these guys, they not only play together on the court, but they're together off the court, and that leads to such a family-like feeling for these Magen David Warriors. Yeah,
Coach Scher was telling me that his son Ray and Soli Hasbani, the two players associated with that play, Ray with the pass to Hasbani, then Hasbani the steal, he said they grew up together. They've been best friends for a long time. So just a very tight-knit group that's going to hold themselves accountable. I think the biggest difference for Magen David, when all the blessings started coming, was when Rabbi Eli Mansour showed up there. That's when they started winning these championships of late. Magen David, 65-47, just like that. This was a 4-point game at halftime. I mentioned it earlier. My legendary coach, Joel Rishdi, may rest in peace, always said the third quarter is where it's won and lost. And that final 220 that you, Yosef, pointed out before it occurred, that final 220 of the third was this game.
Yeah, and obviously at this point it's going to be tough for TABC to come back. But Magen David just so disciplined in that press. Nobody's been able to beat it.
Yeah, you can feel it now. TABC forcing the fouls. Scher will go to the line. Scher's got 8 points. He's 2 for 4 from the line. He missed the first two badly, but then he switched the next two. So his brother won the championship a couple of years ago. That great overtime game against Flatbush.
His brother won MVP as a junior in that game.
Yeah. I remember I was asked after the broadcast, who would you give MVP? I chose him because it was so evenly scored. Like, no one had 30 points. I think it was like 11, 13, 9. But he just ran that engine for that team, his brother Phil.
And we talk about all-star teams for Magen David. I mean, that squad from a couple of years ago, maybe not undefeated, blowing teams out every single day. But, Moses Smecki and Mark Sardar and Haber and Phil Scher, Joshua Shabbat. I mean, those guys were an absolute wagon. And it took Eula in the overtime of the Sarachek Championships. That was basically the only tournament trophy that Magen David was denied that year.
No one should get everything, No one should get everything.
Well, I'll tell that to the JV Warriors over here.
They're on their way.
With the Boca Trophy and pretty much on their way.
Yeah, they're
up 19 with 3:48 to go.
You know what Harold Scher told me this year? He's been clocking TABC all year. He sort of knew that TABC would come out of the quote-unquote stronger division. I mean, Magen David's the strongest team in the league, hands down. But he knew that the competition and the division, the conference that TABC was playing in was a little bit stronger. So even though they went 8-2, he's been clocking them. And we were talking before the game, this is the finals we expected, and still it's a 20-point game.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. And I was talking to legendary Max Live reporter Marvin Azrak, obviously very involved with Magen David. He told me he was sitting in this gym at a YU playoff game 13 months ago. He was sitting next to Harold Scher. And Harold Scher told him, in 13 months from now, we will be in this gym playing for the JV championship game. And 13 months later, here we are, Magen David up 19 with about 3.5 to go.
Nice passing by TABC. Inside, missed the layup. Rebound for Jacob Levy. Somehow, in a crowd of yellow, the one white jersey pulls that rebound.
And how many times have we said that today?
A lot of times. A lot of times. Levy will be rewarded with a trip to the line. He wears number 22, one for every letter in the Hebrew alphabet. Levy having a fine game. Nothing explosive, but so many big rebounds. A couple of big turnovers. Got 10 points now. Great team game. It was all Hasbani in the first half. In the second half, Michael Anthony went off, and Bukabza provided a great spark. Levy's been nice and consistent throughout. Just
Yeah.
a really, tough team to guard, honestly.
Right, and that kind of shows you the power of Magen David and why they've been so good. We talk a lot about the press and how they've been, playing as a team, as that's a 3 from Adams. But, it's not just you shut down one guy and then you're doing well, right? Obviously they have superstars, but they don't have the guy, right? We saw Hasbani in the first half. He was doing really well, and he's still done really well in this half. But you have different guys. You have Levy. You have Antaby, who's had a really good half. Bukubza was really good in the second half. And they just have different guys that can turn it on at different times. And there's not a single team in the entire Jewish basketball world this year that's been able to guard all 5 guys effectively. And even if you're able to slow down Hasbani, even if you're able to slow down Antaby, even if you're able to slow down Levy, you still have Bukubza. You still have Cher, who's been excellent. And there's just so many options for this Magen David team, not to mention the guys on the bench who also, once again, like we were saying before, would probably be starters or key contributors for many teams in the Yeshiva League.
Magen David went into stall mode. It looked like a textbook stall for around 30 of the 35 seconds before the turnover, but they were able to just, instead of taking those layups, just pass the ball around for 30 seconds, and that's more valuable than scoring at this point. Here's Adams, launches one, misses it. And Magen again will probably go into stall mode here.
Yeah, at this point, up 19 with a little bit over 2 to go. The only thing that can really stop you at this point is the clock.
Yeah, seeing which coach is going to empty his bench first. And neither of them willing to do so. Bukubza nails the layup. Bukubza's now got 7, 9, 11, 12 points now. Long 3 by Josh Neese. I thought he hit that other long 3 earlier when you said Adams. I'm not sure. I thought it was Neese, but I'm not sure. Either way, it's 71-53, under 2 minutes, and finally Weisberg empties his bench here. He's got such a large bench, it's going to be impossible to get everyone in, but he'll get his next 5 a chance to play on the Yeshiva University hardwood.
Yeah, 20 guys on the roster for TABC, just 13 for Magen David. But just looking forward almost towards next year, both teams pretty sophomore heavy, meaning those guys are moving on to the varsity level. And very often we see that the teams that succeed at JV succeed at varsity. You look at the 2 teams that we were calling last year between Flatbush and Ramaz in what was an excellent game, also another overtime Yeshiva League game. And Ramaz is semifinalists this year. Flatbush, they kind of got upset by SAR in their opening round, but they finished second in their division, knocking off Magen David varsity, earning that spot in Sarachek. That was probably going to be, there was probably only one spot for Brooklyn between Magen David and Flatbush. Flatbush winning that game at the end of the season. They really able to secure that spot. And, Magen David, they went 11-3 this year. They are graduating some guys, but you talk about bringing these guys up to the next level. And then for TABC as well, a little bit of a down year for TABC, but once those guys come up, Adams and Stein and Bikel, they'll really be in a place to make an impact. We obviously know Coach Oz and Coach Stepner now for TABC, my partner here at Max Live. And then obviously Spike and Benny Mann, the assistant for the varsity team for Magen David. 2 well-coached teams, 2 very talented groups.
I did not see Coach Oz in the building today, by the way. Is he there?
Yeah, he's right in the corner.
Okay, here he is. He's got to be salivating for the chance to coach Stein and Adams and Bikel. I thought Bikel had a fine game today in the first half. Got quieted down in the second half. And, both these schools just know what they're doing on the coaching end. Harold Scher and Benny Mann coached a flawless game today with their substitutions. They rode Michael Antaby in that third quarter, even though he had foul trouble. He's their one guy that they're going to have next year. I can almost bet your bottom dollar he'll be an all-star next year as a sophomore after what he's able to accomplish in the third quarter here today. Inbound for TABC. And I'm just looking at the TABC bench, just despondent, but they played a fine game. They had Magen David within 4. They actually led after trailing by 7, 9, and 11 points. They actually led for a brief moment. Nothing to hang their heads on. They had a great season.
Yeah, 8-2. They lost to Montreal in the Montreal tournament, which, their best player, Simon Uhl, is in 11th grade, just the way, the academic system works over in Montreal. They're playing with 11th graders. We'll get to see them in Sarachek here on Max Live. But, just a great job from TABC on the year. I was speaking to someone at TABC. I was asking him, like, what would you say is the biggest surprise? And he said, being honest, not even trying to brag, I would say the biggest surprise was those 2 losses. Like, they were feeling really good about their season. And, even the 2 losses that they had in Yeshiva League, at Hillel, at Frisch, I mean, those are games that, like, if you're going to drop, those are the ones that, definitely excusable losses for sure. But basically from the beginning, in the preseason, these were the 2 top dogs in Yeshiva League. We saw that play out as the season progressed, and we saw it here today. I mean, TABC really hung with them in the first half. In the second half, Magen David was able to pull away. But really just a great game from both of these teams, and it's going to be Magen David that's going to come in and emerge as undefeated champions here in the Yeshiva League.
Freddie Salama hits that little mid-range jumper. Now it looks like Charles Sultan is going to come in. He's injured. He, just 2 weeks ago, at the end of a practice, had a devastating injury for him. Magen David able to complete it without him anyway, but he can't even run. You see he's on the court, so Magen basically playing 5-on-4 right now. They're going to get it to him. He's going to hold on to it and dribble. And despite the injury, it looks like the clock's going to run out with Charles Sultan, the injured star, dribbling the ball. And congratulations to Magen David. Another 20-point win for the Warriors. Another championship for the Warriors. 73-53 against the TABC Storm. And the third quarter, they took a 4-point lead and scored 27 points in the frame and ran away with this. Last 5-6 minutes of this game were just a formality.
Yeah, and that third quarter really was the turning point in this one. Magen David, the way they play, the pressure, the intensity, the pace that they play at, that's kind of what they do. Teams come in juiced, they come in prepared, and they're kind of able to hang sometimes in the first half. Not every game. There are some games that, like we saw against Frisch in the Boca tournament, that they were able to jump out ahead against Frisch, and Frisch actually pulled back. But in this game, TABC was able to hang in the beginning, but it just becomes too much. It becomes too much physicality, too much pace, too much pressure, and ultimately it's Magen David that's coming out with the championship in what was a 20-point win over the TABC Storm.
That's exactly right. TABC scores 13 in the fourth quarter. Magen scores 18. So the second half was a complete blowout, 16-point advantage for Magen. Leading scorer, Soli Hasbani, led everybody the entire time with his 22 points. Actually Ezra Adams, if he did hit that 3, ends with 24. But Soli Hasbani leads Magen David with 22. Michael Antaby, 14, all in the second half. 12 of the 14 in the third quarter. Jacob Ukubska with 12. Jacob Levy with 11. He was very evenly distributed. 9 for Ray Scher. 4 for Joe Feldman, who provided a great spark the entire time. And then the final 2 by Freddie Salama. That should equal 73. 24 for Ezra Adams. 12 for Tani Stein. 3 for EB Eitan Barron. 4 for Shai Bakel. 3 for Josh Neese. 2 for Sukowski. 2 for Laserson on that fast break. And 3 for Ben Gala. That's 53, we think. Who's checking? Who's counting? 73-53. I'd love to get one of the players up here if we can, Yosef. Let's see. We get, I assume, Hasbani.
Yeah, we're going to get the Magen David's getting called to the center of the court for the trophy presentation. Whoever is the MVP, I would assume it's Hasbani. But whoever it is, we're probably going to pull them, and I'd imagine they're going to bring some teammates with them as well, as we should have a good interview for you here up in the booth in the Max Stern Athletic Center. As once again, a 20-point win for Magen David in the championship game over the TABC Storm.
Okay, my former math teacher, who is watching, just texted me that the math adds up, so I'm happy to make her proud. I'm 43. I haven't been in math class in a long time, but I'm happy that I can still add numbers up. Okay, post-game ceremony, Magen David. Commissioner Seth Gordon trying to corral the troops from MDY. David, the JV championship, perfect season. 10-0 in the regular season. 3-0 in the postseason. Jeff Gindy, the play-by-play man, is happy. Let's see who the MVP goes to if they didn't announce it yet. I would say Hasbani, 22, right?
Yeah, I think the only guy it could be is Bukubza.
Right.
But I would assume they're going to give it to Hasbani. He just had an excellent game.
It could also be Anthony if you focus on the third quarter.
Yeah, I think he struggled a little too much in the first half. You know, obviously, he's not going to care too much. They won by 20. But I would assume it's Hasbani here, and we're going to try to pull him for an interview once they present the trophies.
Well, I got my man now. I got that little boy over there. He has access to all Magen David player personnel. He's a director of media. That's my good friend Paulie Shalom Dweck's son. And I'd like if Seth could announce the MVP so we know who to get up here. But I did ask him to go grab Soli Hasbani because we feel he was the difference in this game.
Yeah, we may pull Bukubza as well. We'll see how many we can get. Frankly, the way these things usually work, I'd imagine whoever we pull is going to bring some friends with him.
Right.
But it should be a real interesting interview on what's been one heck of a season for the Magen David Warriors.
You know what? You got to remember there's a lot of pressure when everyone expects you to win also. That's like a different type of pressure. It's a better pressure than when everyone expects you to lose. There he is, MVP Soli Hasbani. Good choice by Commissioner Seth Gordon and whoever else makes that decision.
And just a big shout out to Seth for everything he does, both with the Yeshiva League, for the Lower East Side, of course.
I loved the pregame, the mixing of the players for the Tehillim. I love that. That's a special. That was a special moment here when he said, "Don't line up with your team, line up with your fellow Jew," to pray for the troops, the American and Israeli troops that are putting an end to Iran. MVP Soli Hasbani. I'll give him this headset. Okay. This side, Soli. This side, over here. Okay. Let me see if this reaches you. Put this on you. Is that good?
Yeah, it's good.
Put the microphone near you. All right. We are here with MVP of the finals, Mr. Soli Hasbani. Congratulations, young man. Take us through the pregame because your teammates seemed so nervous. People were missing layups that I couldn't believe, and you were the only one that wasn't missing a shot. You were hitting all your layups. You're the only one on either team that didn't seem nervous. Why was that?
We prepared all year for this moment. We knew we were going to come out slow. It's the finals. We knew everything. We just had to stay and play our game.
How different is it to play in a season like this where you go undefeated and literally everybody expects you to win? That's a lot of pressure, no? Like that. Yeah. You have to win every game and you have to win by 20 and all of that.
Yeah, we all sacrificed for this team. We all took a step down because we have so many great players. So we just had to share the ball, and it worked out, I guess.
It's funny, my teammate here, Yosef, was saying that exact thing throughout the game. Your 6th and 7th guys would be starters on any other team in this league.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone had to take a big sacrifice. What did Coach Scher and Coach Mann tell you at halftime? This was a 4-point game at halftime, probably your closest halftime.
Yeah.
What did he tell you at halftime?
They're saying we should be up by 20 after all the missed layups.
Good.
And then they're saying, what is TABC saying? They're getting lucky. I'm not gonna say that, but we're missing shots and we usually hit them. So they just said we're gonna keep hitting them, and then
I'm happy they said that because sometimes you think the coaches are like a much higher level than the broadcasters, but we couldn't believe how many layups you guys were missing, and you still led the game at halftime, and then you ran away in the third.
What
do you have to?
That steal by Jacob Levy.
Yeah.
That was the biggest game of the game.
Yeah. It's so funny. That was the biggest game of the biggest play of that first half because they could have tied the game or even taken the lead.
Got momentum back.
Instead, you led by 4 at halftime. But the final 2 minutes of the third quarter, it was a close game. You guys exploded with that press.
Our defense, that was all year. We played crazy defense.
Defense has always and will always win championships. All the scoring and everything. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Okay, how are your arms like 9'2"? It looked like sometimes the guy was going to block you, but you like Inspector Gadget before your time. You just extend.
I actually grew like 4 inches this summer.
Yeah. I mean, what are they feeding them in Brooklyn over there? Michael Anthony, the freshman. What a third quarter this kid had.
We knew he was in step up. We all practiced. We said Meg's going to have a great game. He's going to hit his shots. It's all the focus are on me, Levy, and Ray, our big three.
Right. Okay, well, I want to congratulate you. You
Thank
played
you.
a phenomenal game. You are some player.
Thank
The
you.
way you act on the court is even better. I didn't see one shot that you hit where you looked at the other team or you look at the crowd. Or, I watch a lot of the younger kids, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Every time they hit a shot, they put the 3 points up. They do this. You guys don't do any of that. I didn't see any of that from any guy on this court. So congratulations to you. Tani Stein and Ezra Adams both had fine games, but you guys are just too much for them.
Our game plan was like, give them, they're going to obviously score 15 points.
They're going to get theirs. Yeah.
Let's do it the hard way. Let them score the hard way.
Wow. Great coaching. You can tell all the coach speak coming through the star player.
Benny and Harold, best coaches I've ever played for.
Yeah, and now
Joey D is also the best.
And now next year you'll still get the best. You get Mr. Spike next year.
I'm excited.
All right. Solly, congratulations. Great
Thank
game.
you so much.
Really great
Thank
game.
you.
Congratulations. Enjoy it. And I'm sure we'll see more of Solly Hasbani in the future. What a player.
Thank you so much.
All right, there he is, MVP of the finals, Solly Hasbani. What a game he had. The only guy who felt no nerves entering this gym this morning and scored of his 22 points, scored 15 in that first half. What do you think, Yosef?
Yeah, just an excellent player and an excellent game from Magen David, like we were saying. Really a team effort, right? That first half was really all about Hasbani. The second half, we had Antabi come in. He performed pretty well. We had Jacob Bukabza as well, another guy who was a little bit quieter in the beginning of the game, really came out and really had a nice stretch, especially in that fourth quarter for Magen David to really put the nail in that, put the hammer to the nail.
They just needed a minute, those other guys. They just needed a minute. And Solly gave them that minute. That's why he's MVP. He was the one scoring the points. When everyone else was missing layups because they were so nervous, he was the one who kept it steady. And then Bukabza and Antabi and Levy and all these guys could do what they do. They're all great basketball players. I just love how well-spoken he is. That's a beautiful young kid right there.
Yeah, definitely maybe even media trains in that Magen David basketball factory they got over there. But, and I think the key to this game was I believe TABC maybe had one lead, and it was by 1 point. I think it was 24-23 maybe.
For 10 seconds.
For like 10 seconds, and that was it. And that was the key for Magen David, staying in front, staying up top, and really just not letting TABC feel comfortable. You go up by 3, 4, even 3, 4, 5 points for TABC.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we're in this game, we're feeling good, like whatever. They did not let TABC get comfortable from the opening tip until the final buzzer.
Yeah.
And that was the key for Magen David. And, maybe the game wasn't as much of a blowout as the 20 points may indicate because this was a really close game at halftime, even a couple minutes into the second half. But that's what Magen David will do to you. They'll wear you down. They'll force you to make mistakes. And then once you make mistakes, that's when they pounce. That's when they capitalize. And that's what we saw here today.
I got to give you credit because 2:20 left in the third. You said, here we go. The final 2 minutes of this third. Are you going to get it to 6, 7 points entering the fourth? Or is it going to extend? And all it did was extend. The sixth defender, the good three-pointer, the N1, on, and then, bam, the game just like that. It's over. When you play a great team, a powerhouse like Magen David, that's all it takes. You sleep for 2 minutes, and then, bam, it's over. Trying to see if we can get Harold Scher up here. If not, we are going to have to sign off. Our networks are, hounding us, all the subsidiaries. I heard it's translated in 14 languages in 18 different countries. So,
yeah, that's what they say. Us at Max Live, we got some of our, secondary broadcasters, calling the game from all different places. The global network that we have here at Max Live, obviously.
I mean, I had to broadcast from some crazy places before I got the call for this finals. You guys are sending me all over the globe. I'm happy to be here today in, hometown of New York. It looks like Harold is just going to celebrate with his team. So, from the Max Stern Athletic Center of the famed Yeshiva University, for Yosef Silver, I'm Norman Jamal signing off. Stay tuned for the varsity finals starting in around an hour. It's a 3:30 tip-off. We'll come on the air a little before then on the Max Live Network. It's DRS versus SAR. It's a lot of initials, but it's as juicy as it gets. You're going to see you're going to think you're watching a professional basketball game at the varsity level when we get there. But for Yosef Silver, the entire Max Live team, for Seth Gordon and the entire Yeshiva League, I'm Norman Jamal. signing off. Congratulations to the Magen David Warriors. 73-53 championship win. Thank you, everybody.